Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to discuss the endocrine system. The endocrine system is a regulating control system of the body. It is made up of several ductless glands and some organs that are involved in other systems. The endocrine system hormones are secreted directly into the blood and circulate through the body. The hormones have specific effects on their target tissues to keep the metabolic and developmental processes of the body functioning normally. They work both antagonistically and cooperatively to maintain homeostasis. Right, first up, we'll discuss the structures of the endocrine system. The structures include the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the parathyroid glands, adrenal glands, which we saw which were sitting on top of the kidneys in the urinary system, the pineal glands, the thymus, the hypothalamus, the pancreas, the ovaries, the testes, and the placenta. So our main structures we're going to talk about are the pituitary gland first. The pituitary gland is often called the master gland of the body. It's located at the base of the brain. It secretes 6 different hormones that stimulate other glands and organs to act. In addition to its 6 secretion, it also stores and releases 2 hormones secreted by the hypothalamus. So first up, growth hormone is primarily stimulates the muscles and the long bones to grow and regulates the blood sugar. Prolactin, also secreted by the pituitary gland, is similar to the growth hormone, but only activates milk production in the breast. Thyroid stimulating hormone is produced by the pituitary gland. It regulates the thyroid gland. Adrenocorticotropic hormone regulates the adrenal gland. It's also produced by the pituitary gland. The follicle stimulating hormone produced by the pituitary gland promotes the maturation of eggs, the production of estrogen, and the development of sperm production. And also produced by the pituitary gland is luteinizing hormone. This signals the ovary to release the egg and produce progesterone for the testes to produce testosterone. And then those 2 that are stored in the pituitary gland but are actually released by the hypothalamus are oxytocin and the antidiuretic hormone. Oxytocin is secreted by the hypothalamus. It stimulates contractions of the uterus and the milk letdown reflex in new mothers. And then the antidiuretic hormone, also produced by the hypothalamus, stored in the pituitary gland, promotes water retention within the kidneys. Next up, we discuss the structure of the thyroid gland. This is slightly larger than the other glands. It's located in the anterior neck, in the 2 lobes on either side of the trachea. So your picture there on the top of 135, it is showing the thyroid gland, the little butterfly-shaped gland there. Its hormones, including thyroxine and, sorry, I have trouble pronouncing some of these, and I'm sure some of you will also, but triiodothyronine, something similar to that anyway, regulates metabolism and reduces blood calcium levels simply by triggering calcium from the blood to be deposited into the bones. The thyroid obviously requires iodine to produce its hormones. Without enough iodine, the thyroid overworks and becomes enlarged, creating a goiter. We don't typically have very many goiters here in the U.S., but in some of the underdeveloped countries, they still have pretty good case of goiters, and it's like just a large mass that is in the neck. Since iodine was added to table salt, goiters have become fairly rare. Of course, underdeveloped countries don't necessarily have table salts, so they don't have that addition of the iodine. Parathyroid glands. There's at least 4 small pea-shaped parathyroid glands. They're usually embedded in the posterior wall of the thyroid. Their hormone, aptly called parathyroid hormone, increases the calcium levels in the blood by triggering the bones to release calcium into the blood when the calcium is needed. The parathyroid hormone also stimulates vitamin D synthesis and promotes calcium retention in the kidneys. Next up, we have adrenal glands. These were those little hat-shaped looking structures that were sitting on top of the kidneys. The hormones they secrete include adrenal epinephrine or adrenaline and norepinephrine or noradrenaline, glucocorticoids, and mineralocorticoids. The adrenal hormone promotes sodium and water conservation. They also help with long-term stress. They reduce inflammation and edema and reduce pain. In addition, adrenaline cooperates with the sympathetic nervous system to initiate the alarm response. If you hear of someone that has an adrenal issue, usually they are really high-stressed individuals. A couple of the diseases and stuff we'll get into later on are stemmed from the adrenal gland, where technically the adrenal gland is overactive. Next up is the pineal gland. So the tiny pineal gland hangs from the roof of the third ventricle in the brain. It's responsible for producing melatonin. It's not proven, but melatonin is commonly known to help the body recognize and move through sleep-wake cycles, so the circadian rhythms to an extent. Thymus gland. The thymus gland is discussed in the lymphatic system section. It is located posterior to the sternum and decreases in size as we get older. Remember, it's larger in children, and as we get older, it kind of starts shriveling up. It produces thymosin, which triggers leukocytes to mature into T lymphocytes, special immune cells that help the body recognize foreign substances. Other endocrine organs we said was the hypothalamus, the pancreas, the ovaries, the testes, and the placenta. Are considered components of the endocrine system because of their secretions. Not the organ so much itself, but it's more of the hormones that it produces. The hypothalamus sits just above the pituitary gland, controls its hormone release, giving them a close cooperative relationship. Hypothalamus produces ADH and oxytocin, and then immediately stores it in the pituitary gland. Once the hypothalamus stimulates the pituitary gland to release them, the ADH causes the kidneys to reabsorb more water instead of excreting it. And oxytocin stimulates uterine contractions during childbirth, and then that initial letdown of milk in the breast after childbirth. The pancreas secretes glucagon and insulin, the hormones involved in metabolizing carbohydrates. Excuse me. Insulin is also very important in stimulating fat and protein synthesis. The ovaries produce the hormones estrogen and progesterone, and the testes produce testosterone. The placenta develops in the uterus during pregnancy. It is the organ that serves as the intermediary between the mother and the fetus, and it's made from tissue of both individuals. It provides fetal nutrition, eliminates fetal waste, and produces estrogen and progesterone. These hormones help maintain the pregnancy, preventing contractions that cause miscarriage, and they prepare the mother's body for breastfeeding. So what are the effects of massage on the endocrine system? This is a picture showing the actual different glands involved in the endocrine system. The effects of massage include it increases circulation of blood and lymph, thereby enhancing the effectiveness of the endocrine system, and it reduces the level of stress-related hormones. Everyone's heard of the hormone cortisone. That's one of your stress hormones, said to cause excess belly fat. So a lot of people are familiar with that one specifically. So go through and list major components, functions, and the effects of massage in your presentation or your visual aid. And also go through, watch any videos so far, and or rewatch them if necessary. And we'll continue on with the endocrine system pathologies. So first up, with the pathologies of the endocrine system, we have diabetes mellitus. This is your basic run-of-the-mill diabetes. Its manifestations include frequent urination, excessive thirst, and elevated appetite with weight loss, nausea, and vomiting. Contraindications, we do not massage a client shortly after they have received or taken their insulin injections, or there's a little different setup when a client is on an insulin pump. There's no indications. The cause of diabetes is insufficient insulin production or insulin resistance in the cells of the body. Treatments include diet, exercise, and insulin. When we have several clients that come here that are on an insulin pump, when someone is on an insulin pump, they're steadily receiving insulin. The main thing is make sure that there's no other contraindications, and make sure that their blood sugar levels are maintained. And you also typically want to advise your client to eat about 30 minutes before they come in, just because the massage can cause the blood sugar to drop a little, and we don't want them passing out. But typically, if you have a client that is a diabetic, they know what to do, they're prepared, and but just in case they're not or whatever, we typically tend to keep mints or something like that on standby. And we typically have some kind of fruit here at the school that's also good for pumping that insulin level back up. This massage is generally safe for diabetic clients who have good circulation and healthy tissues. Because massage may reduce blood sugar, diabetic clients should not receive massage shortly after taking an injection. Just in case a diabetic client starts acting confused, weak, or dizzy, which is signs of hypoglycemia, it's a good idea to have snacks available that are high in sugar, such as candy or fruit juice. Sorry, I dropped my book. Okay, so next up we will be talking about the reproductive system, and let you complete any of your assignments you still have to do. Rewatch videos if necessary, and we will continue on with the reproductive system in the next video.